behind the scenes. We will also go over the purpose of the connections period. We'll have our timeline and key dates, a step-by-step walkthrough of the connections process, and then our best practices for artist venue. Almost last but not least, we'll have our resources and support. And then we'll also have a short Q&A session, which we are going to save that for the end of the session. So if you think of any questions you have, please just save them or like put them in the chat or something. And we can also queue for anyone who would like to speak on the mic for asking questions there as well. Finally, we will go over some closing remarks, just some next steps, and yeah, let's get started. All right, so let's meet the support team. Let's see here. We want you to know who is here to help, whether it's tech questions, profile concerns, venue matchmaking. Our team is here to support you through this entire process. And put some faces to the names here. We have, like I mentioned, Kaylee Smith-Barth, our exhibitions and internship manager. She manages exhibitions tasking, assisting and determining rules and processes for our artist and venue experience. And then myself, I handle a lot of the front-facing customer service inquiries and supports. I also assist our team with customer service initiatives and hospitality. And then Allie, our digital rock star, she manages a lot of the newsletters that you may receive, social media posts, and so much more. All right. So just briefly to discuss our mission, at ArtPrize, our mission is to transform the art world through a radically open global art competition rooted right here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We aim to ignite creativity and create connections between artists, venues, and the public. And take a peek at some key dates now. So May through July is very focused on finishing registration and focusing on the connections process. While September marks the beginning of the event, starting with the 18th, which is essentially a bit of a preview night. And then September 19th is our opening ceremony, and we hope you join us if you can be here for the event. I know not everyone can make it, but we'll also we'll keep you guys posted on some more information on that. So opening ceremony 19th, and then the public voting will actually begin then as well. September 26th is our halftime show where we will announce the top 100 artists. So that is broken down between 20 artists from each district. So we have our North, South, East, West, and Central, which is very exciting, an amazing time. We always have some performances. It's a really great time if you can make it. And then October, that's kind of when things begin wrapping up. Our public voting will close. The award ceremony is on the 3rd, and we always, once again, it's always a party. So that's when our awards will be distributed. And we'll get into some more information too about what awards are available for 2025 later in the slides. All right. So we will move on here. Later in the slides being now. So in 2025, we have our public and our juried awards. Our public vote determines who will be awarded the grand prize, which is $100,000 this year, and the category awards, which is, there are 6 of those at $10,000 each, which is very, very exciting. And then moving on, we have our jurors who will determine the recipients of the juried grand prize, which is that $100,000. Our category awards, which is 6 of $10,000 each. And then we also have our visibility awards. And if you aren't familiar with visibility awards, I do recommend taking some time and going to our website, just perusing the details of the visibility awards, lots of information. Our website is a wealth of knowledge. So definitely encourage you to take a good look at everything. But we will move on. Let's see here to our grants. And bear with me. Perfect. Thank you. Let's see here. I have my notes. Bear with me. I wish that I could remember everything all at once, but too many things happening in the world. Let's see. Thank you for your patience while we get reorganized. Yes, perfect. Okay. Alrighty. So let's see. Here we can see the grants that are available in 2025. Now, our grants do typically open earlier in the year, so some even before artist registration begins, kind of around the time where venue registration, like early March. So if you are ever interested in our grants process, I definitely recommend taking a peek on our website early in the year, keeping up with the newsletters. But the three that are mentioned here, those applications will close officially. One is the featured public project is closed, but the other two will close on May 30th. So for those who have applied to these grants, the exhibitions team will be reaching out to you, and we'll have some more information very shortly. All right, and we are going to move on to our pitch nights. So this is something that we have been doing, have definitely expanded on this year. We are excited to reintroduce them in partnership with organizations nationwide. These partnerships and grants are an effort to bring more artists from across the country to ArtPrize. Our exhibitions team has traveled to Kentucky, Arizona, Indiana, Oklahoma, and just recently New York City. So lots of things happening, lots of amazing artists having the opportunity to have their projects funded and brought all across the nation. So keep an eye out for some information on future pitch nights as well, to see if we are coming to your city, or if you want to reach out with any organizations that you think we should partner with. We're always open to that. And then this Saturday, we actually have our Grand Rapids Motu Viget pitch night. That is Saturday, 2 to 6 at Ottawa Hills High School. We'll be awarding 3 pitch night grants to local Grand Rapids artists. So if you're local to Grand Rapids, we would love to have you come out and join us. Again, that's 2 to 6, Ottawa Hills High School. We will move on to public voting. So a huge part of ArtPrize is our public vote. Obviously, it is not everything, because there is plenty of award money in juried voting as well. But a lot of draw is having your work seen, and the exposure and having feedback. So public voting allows us to kind of get a view of that. So this is pretty similar to how we have operated public voting in the past. Voting will be available via mobile device or kiosk using the artist QR code or entry code. And those QR codes are provided and located on the artist labels, artist signage that ArtPrize provided to the venues. And that will happen closer to the event once you have that connection. So anyhow, the first vote must be cast within the district to be valid. So the ArtPrize boundaries, which that is located on our website and will be distributed in some emails. And then after that initial vote within that district, participants can continue voting from home on a desktop or mobile device. Now we do have the option of in-person voting for those who are not technologically inclined. It happens to the best of us, or we forget our phone dies, and we want to participate in the process. All you need to do is head to the ArtPrize Clubhouse or ArtPrize kiosk, and then we'll also have some other kiosks throughout the districts. And our volunteers will be able to help you, as well as staff. So we'll have some more information coming out on that as well. So trying to make everything as accessible as we can. All right, and we'll move on to our juried voting. So like I said, public vote is great, but there are plenty of opportunities for juried cash prizes as well. The jurors are assigned their categories that match their area of their expertise. They also receive a list of all of the artists assigned in their categories so they can preview the artist profiles. So around August is when we do typically request that all final edits are done to your profiles. That way they have the opportunity to see your artwork and your artist profile, just kind of getting to know you, understanding your background. Just have that done by August so that they can have that full and beautiful picture of your artwork. They are also guided by an ArtPrize representative through the districts. So they will come and see your work in person. We don't disclose any schedules or times, but if you are a time-based entry, we will have a form later on to where you can let us know about a performance or a time that you will be having that time-based entry available so that our juror can come through and see that. Anyhow, jurors will also deliberate and decide on winners within their category. So, perfect. We will continue on. Connections. I know all of you are excited. We are also very excited here. Connections is such a beautiful time to see all of the artwork coming in and being able to see where things are getting connected. So that means using the ArtPrize portal. So the ArtPrize portal can be used for editing profiles, managing connections, and finding tools and resources. We will have some more information posted on both the artist and venue FAQ about these tools and resources, working on a knowledge base so that everyone can search for some keywords, finding the things that they need to find. This will include tutorials, maybe some checklists, just trying to help you and us stay organized. All right. So what is a connection and why do I need one? A finalized connection determines, sorry, let me back up here. A connection is the finalized agreement between an artist and a venue that determines where an artwork will be exhibited. So without a hosting agreement and a confirmed connection, an entry cannot officially be included in ArtPrize. So it is very, very important that by July 11th, which is the deadline for this year, you are either in the process, in pending, which I will explain later, or you have that connection. Otherwise, we can also discuss what it looks like without a connection. All right. So what are the steps we need to follow? So you as an artist or a venue will both need to log into the ArtPrize dashboard. Artists and venues both have the opportunity to request connections at the same time. And both parties can confirm or deny requests. So say a venue comes in, don't think it's a great fit, you are absolutely welcome to deny that request, and same for venues. They also have that power. So if you do decide that it is a good fit, you can both accept that pending request and then enter that pending phase. Only when this phase happens is when the contact information for venues or artists will become available. So if you are wondering why it's not showing up, why you can't reach out, it might just be a request. So just make sure to double check. And we'll have a full tutorial as well. Should be coming up very shortly. All right. From there, from pending, you will enter that email phase where you have the email, you can reach out, and then once you negotiate the terms of the exhibition, the venue should send over a hosting agreement. Once that hosting agreement has been signed by both parties, then is when you will want to go back into the dashboard and confirm that, finalize that connection. All right.
Welcome, and
Ooh,
congratulations on
weird, jumping
completing
it.
your registration for the 2025 event. In this video, we will review the process of using the ArtPrize dashboard to manage the connections process. To begin, please log into your account on the dashboard. This is the main page of the dash. On the left-hand side, you'll find all the tabs you'll need to navigate the process efficiently. The first tab is Browse, where you can search for venues and view other registered entries. To make your search more efficient, we've also included a Venues tab. Click here to view all available venues directly. To start requesting connections, artists will need to click on a venue's profile. There, they can view the information the venue has provided, including its location, hours, description, and any social media links or images. If you as the artist feel that it may be a good fit and would like the chance to talk with the venue manager, click the Send Connection Request button. If you click it by mistake, you can undo the request if needed. Otherwise, you can see the status of your connection by clicking the View My Connections button. Here we can see where we have requested the venue Elegance Emporium. We can continue to request more venues and manage any current requests. In this example, we are marked as pending with generic bar. This status means that either we requested to connect with the venue and they accepted, or they sent a request that we accepted. In either case, we are now able to communicate with the venue. To start communicating with a venue, click the Let's Chat button next to the venue's email address. This will open your default email application with a new message. If you don't have a default email set up, you can simply copy the email address and paste it into the recipient field of a new message using your preferred email platform. After the initial communications with the interested venue, the venue will send a hosting agreement. They have the ability to use their own version or one that ArtPrize provides. This will come via email. Here is what the email will look like if they use the template that we provide. You will need to click the specially generated link within the email to access the document. Clicking it will take you to the partially filled out hosting agreement that the venue is providing. It may take a few moments to load, so please be patient with it. Now that it has loaded, you can see the venue's responses to the form here. Scrolling down to the bottom of the page, you should see the Next button. Please click this to continue. This will show you more details that the venue has provided. Again, please click Next. Here is where you will need to enter the information for yourself and your entry for the contract. Once you have entered the information needed here, click the Next button to continue. Provide a brief overview of your installation process, a backup plan if applicable, and any deinstallation or removal steps. Please note that this section has a character limit, so keep your responses concise. When you're ready, click Next to continue. You will need to review the generic ArtPrize provided terms and conditions and provide any additional terms, notes, or agreements made during the emailing process. Click Next to view the signature page for the venue, and continue to the signature page for the artist. Add your legal name, your signature, date, and mailing address. These things are required in order to make it a legal and binding document. Finally, you can click Continue to finalize the hosting agreement. This will trigger some celebratory confetti and also allow you the opportunity to save a PDF of your hosting agreement. Opening the PDF will allow you to see the finalized contract and save it for your records. You will not need to send it to ArtPrize. This is for you and the venue to use and reference. ArtPrize has access to send you a copy if you have misplaced it. Now, the final step. We need to finalize the connection in the ArtPrize portal. Doing this alerts ArtPrize that the connection has been confirmed, and we can begin to plan and create the materials that will be provided to venues before and during the event. We will want to head back into the dashboard to complete this process. Please click the In Progress tab on the left-hand side of the screen. We can see that the venue has clicked the Signed Hosting Agreement button on their end and are waiting for us to complete that on our end. Click the Pending tab to access the section. Towards the middle, you should see the box you will need to check to mark it as a completed connection. Clicking it will trigger that process. Congratulations! You have finalized your connection. This will pause your ability to continue to request and accept connection requests. So if this happens in error before the hosting agreement has been completed, please contact ArtPrize support.
All right. Perfect. Hopefully everyone could hear that on their end. And that tutorial will also be available on the website, on the FAQ, and we will send it out via newsletter. So keep an eye out for that. We will also, just to note, we are recording the session as well. So even with the Q&A, if you have a question that you can't remember the answer to, or if someone else has a question that you want to come back to, you will be able to do that. But in the meantime, continue on. And that is for connection tutorial for the venues. This is a work in progress. The tutorial is very similar to the artist. Same process of requesting and connecting. The only difference is that the venue should be the one initiating the hosting agreement process. So it looks a little bit different when you go in to fill out that hosting agreement as a venue. But that will be something we send out specifically to venues. So they will have all of that information, and they will also have the link to the form. So more information coming on that process very soon. Alrighty. So let's get into just some small tips for the connection process for our artists. So regarding your profile, I know we talked about having our edits done by August. So with the connections process, venues looking at your profile are going to want as much information as you are able to give them. So that just means having updated photos, quality photos, and if your work is in progress, having some draft images or like progress photos, making sure the dimensions are there, the weight is there, and accurate. And also just having your artist profile up to date with any previous exhibitions and experience. That helps them know, like, you've been through this process, you kind of know what to expect, even if you've only done a few or if you've never done any, that is okay. We also provide some tips and tricks for installing your work later on after the connections period. So if you're a newbie, that's okay. We welcome. Next is messaging. So when you are emailing back and forth with the venues, just trying to keep in mind that they are operating a business on top of trying to manage and prepare for the ArtPrize event. So just keeping it professional and efficient, just trying to, as much as they would love to hear life stories and everything, just making sure to like keep on the topic of finalizing that connection or figuring out the details that are needed. So that moves on to response time. Definitely be sure to check your portal often, especially if you're sending out those requests and waiting to hear back from venues. Of course, a lot of places are first come first serve, and they go through their selection process. So just keep an eye out. If they accept your request, you can email them first. Don't be shy, but just be aware that, again, they'll have multiple other artists reaching out to them. Let's move on to connection tips for venues. So the same way that we like to encourage our artists to have the most up-to-date information on their profiles, it is also very nice for artists to be able to see what your venue will fully entail. So that means images of the exhibition space, maybe some dimensions, just explaining what space is available, even if it's wall space or space for installations. And then also talking about themes. So if you have any specific entries that you're looking for, like 2D or 3D or installation works, time-based, if you're have any certain like equipment that would be ideal for certain entries, just things like that, just what you have to offer, what you're looking for, things of that sort. Again, with messaging, just maintaining the professionalism and efficiency. Y'all are, I'm all business, business humans. And then just response time as well, knowing that our artists are investing a lot of time, as are you, but just making sure to follow up as quickly as possible, just following up at all, denying or accepting, and emailing, just so that artists know where they stand within a connection so that they can make the best informed decision for themselves. All right, we are going to move on to code of conduct. So respect and kindness are non-negotiable. Discriminatory behavior, harassment, or abuse of any kind will not be tolerated. And these standards apply to all participants before, during, or after ArtPrize. We just like to mention this because ArtPrize is a safe space. ArtPrize is an inclusive and loving community, and we would like to keep it that way. So for any violations of that, that could lead to remedial action or resolution efforts, removal from the event, or loss of participation privileges. But not to be big and scary. It's just keeping in mind we're all just little humans trying to exist. So moving on, what happens after you finalize a connection? You take a second to breathe because you did it, you made it, you have a connection, nothing is on fire, you can sit back and enjoy. Venues, you can start preparing your space and staff for the event. We'll have some more information coming out on for any new venues, kind of what that looks like. You are also welcome to reach out to exhibitions in the case that you would like to have them come out for a site visit. Just you now know what art you have and where you would like to put it. Maybe you don't know. So ArtPrize can definitely help you with that tasking. And then sharing information about the artists and their works that will be arriving this fall. All of you have businesses, venues are businesses, and some do have social media, some have newsletters. So it's really cool to see our venues really engage with our artists and promote them. And it's a full circle. You're putting the energy out into the world and it'll come back to you, kind of thing. And then artists, you are share that you are a connected artist within your circle. So very similar to venues. At some point, kind of closer to the end of the connections period or directly after, we like to send out little artist icons, and it's really cool. A lot of artists get really excited and they put it on their social media, they put it on print materials. It really just, it quite literally just says ArtPrize artist, and people use it, they take it and run. It's great. It always tickles my heart when I see that happening. I'm like, oh, okay. Anyhow, so talking about promotional materials, there are some artists who in the past have used what we call voting cards. This is a completely optional thing to do. It's usually just like a little business card, some information about you, like your email, phone number. It doesn't even have to get that specific. It's just, it'll have maybe like a vote ID or something that's attached to your entry profile, so people can take that with them and continue voting from home. Have a little memento. I have like 1,000 of them stacked up somewhere. So it truly is a nice little thing to just have. Moving on, where to find help. ArtPrize.org, we have our artist and venue FAQs. There will also be an update to our dashboard that has a couple of pages that will have some like technical troubleshooting things. So like if you are experiencing some issues with the dashboard, you can learn how to clear your browser history and your cache. We are going to equip you with the tools to get her done. So some information in the dashboard on our website. And then you can also contact us. We really love to hear from you. You can contact me at support at artprize.org. I've also listed my direct line here, and then exhibitions as well. Exhibitions does handle more exhibition type inquiries. So as far as like permitting, any questions on like safety things, murals, oh man, so many things. They're jack of all trades, really. So if something does come into my inbox and I think that it needs to be more their wheelhouse, I will forward it to them and they will reach out to you. Otherwise, you can also follow us on social media. We're constantly posting things that are happening, what we're doing. Most recently, I saw we had a couple of like announcements of the pitch night winners. So it's just really cool to see all the things that are happening and get excited for the event. So the handles are there. Again, this stuff will be available later on, but yeah. Don't be afraid to ask for help. No question is stupid. We're here. Please use us as a resource. Please. Alrighty. It is time. Okay. So it is Q&A time. I just want to kind of briefly explain a couple rules, a couple things, just so that we can come in and have a respectful and beautiful time here. So with that, I would like to have everyone keep in mind to be respectful and listen actively, let others speak without interruption. And if you could keep your devices silent, just silence phones and minimize distractions so that everyone, again, has that opportunity to fully absorb the information. It's a lot, and our brains can only handle so much all at once. And then ask questions thoughtfully. I mean, obviously, like I just said, like no question is a silly question, but just keeping in mind that everyone is here, everyone is taking time out of their day. So just trying to be as concise and considerate of the group time. But other than that, I'm ready. Let's do it. Bear with me while I prepare the tech side of this.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
I wanted to ask how many work we can put in a venue area. I have one picture for one piece right now in my dashboard, but I wanted to know how many work we are allowed to have there.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a wonderful question because it happens so often. So artists are only allowed one entry, but that can be comprised of a series. So that means you can enter as many and like as you'd like, just keeping in mind that the larger the space that you're going to take up, sometimes the harder it is to find a venue because they're looking for other art, like more artists or things like that, or just they can sometimes feel a little overwhelmed by the process. But a lot of these venues have a lot of experience with like this process as well. So you are long answer.
Thank you. And I have another question. This is my last question.
Yeah.
Can we change the work that we submitted right now with
Yeah.
another work?
Yes.
And should we be sure about that when we should, for example, put the finalize work there?
Yeah, absolutely. You are able to change your work all the way, as long as the venue is aware, all the way up until you finalize that connection. And in some cases, it has happened. We don't love it, but it has happened, to where it gets all the way towards the August month, and they're like, my timeline got crazy. I can't do this. So, but I do have other original works that I would like to enter in place of the initial thought. So,
Thank you.
yeah, of course. Thank you. All right.
Are you going by raised hands or just?
I believe so. Technology. I am not terribly familiar with how this works, but I do think it is raised hand. Oh, I can open the queue as well. Thank you. I have my Kaylee Smith Barth is over here as my secret little helper. So together we're gonna get through this. But anyway, dear, what was your question?
So my question is kind of similar to what I see in the chat. Is there a search engine to search for a particular venue or piece of art? So when I came last year, I walked around town and it was really overwhelming just to use the map, not knowing what the venue's requirements were. Is there anything like that in a spreadsheet form or whatever that makes it easier for us as artists to kind of get an idea of where we might want to look?
Yes, absolutely. That is another wonderful question. Something that I just don't think got out enough, and we are going to work on promoting a lot more this year, is the fact that we have an interactive app. It is through FlockX. So some of you might be familiar with it from last year, but they do have an interactive map. And we're going to be improving that experience this year and kind of innovating a little bit as well. So it'll change up just a teeny little bit. But yes, you'll be able to use that on your phone, mobile device, as well as we are looking to have some information, like some additional ways to view that information. So it is less overwhelming because it's a big city. There's a lot happening. Trying your best out there. So we're trying to make it as easy as we can.
Can you put that link in the chat?
It's not available yet, but
Okay.
it will be soon. We're also going to work on getting an interactive map out for connections so that you guys can kind of see where in the world, where in Grand Rapids, the venues are located that you're looking to request.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Let's see.
Who's next?
David, looks like
Hi.
you. Hi.
Hi. I want to start out by thanking you personally. 2 years ago, I was actually being harassed on the Facebook page because we had like one winner per venue and this person was anonymous. And I
Yeah.
contacted you in like 15 minutes. You put out the fire and never got really a chance to thank you. And I appreciate it so much for being so on top of things.
Yeah. Thank you, David. Cries.
And then, two, is it going to be, and I hope it is, one vote per artist per person, because I really got hurt by that last year. And then the QR codes came out the day of, so they didn't get on my cards.
Yeah.
And the numbers were on my cards and they weren't working. So I went through 2,500 vote for me cards and wasn't a finalist.
Oh, my
Because
goodness.
people, so I'm hoping the QR codes can get out a little earlier. I know it was the first year, and if it's one vote per artist per person, you can't have like someone's entire workplace vote for them every single day. And
Yeah.
you know, so
Yeah. I know, and bear with me because I know that that's kind of that's been an ongoing conversation within the higher ups. So we'll have more information regarding voting coming out very shortly. So I appreciate your patience with that, and I apologize I'm not able to disclose a lot of information.
yeah,
At the
I
moment.
understand, and I don't understand the technology involved. You know, there's some things that might not be possible, but you know, to make it as fair as possible, and then you'll get the artists coming back. You know, more and more. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that feedback too, as well as like the QR codes. That is something that in a beautiful and wondrous, perfect world, we'll have out like closer to the end of connections instead of like more towards the event. So our timeline this year has been escalated. So that is something that I am keeping very near and dear to my heart because so many artists do depend on that for their vote cards, like you
Yeah,
said.
something straight in, because last year it took us to like a cartoon guy and other things, and people. I live in Grand Rapids, so I got a big group of friends, right? But they're all about my age and no one knows how to use their phone
Yeah.
properly, and you end up spending a lot of time trying to fix their phone. So
Yeah.
anyway, thumbs up for efforts to streamline that, and I appreciate you guys and love ArtPrize, and I'll keep coming back. So.
Oh, we love you all. Thank you for giving us a reason to exist. Like literally, like we could not do this without our artists, without our venues. So kudos, keep creating, and thank you.
Okay.
And we'll talk more.
Okay.
Thanks.
And feel free to if you ever want to reach out to an artist, I'm here. I'm been around a while, and I'm always able to chat.
Perfect. Thank you, David. Oh, did I do it? Let's see.
Lord, Lisa.
Oh no, Lisa, if you could request again. Thank you, darling. I am still trying to figure out how to figure it out. Lisa, you might be able to unmute.
Yeah, can you hear
Perfect.
me?
Yes. Yeah.
So I have regarding directly connections, few questions. Can venue communicate regarding like one particular artist when they connect with the artist? That's one. From your experience, how long does it take to venue to respond to connection? Because like I have my priorities, but I'm not by far not sure I will be taking. So
Yeah.
and I still want to get in. So in which point I need to move on and connect other venues.
Yes, this is another really excellent question. So bear with my brain because it's hitting that hour. Your first question was so sorry. How long does it take for a response time? And that does vary per venue. There are some venues, they are smaller venues, they do sometimes get a few less requests than like say like the DeVos place or something like that. So if you go for a smaller venue, you are likely to get a response a lot faster. And no connection is a bad connection, like truly. And that sounds awful saying that, but and we love our small venues. We have had a lot of award winners come out of our small venues. So response time, it can really vary, but typically if you don't hear anything for a couple of weeks, like say you jump in and you are requesting, you have like maybe 10-15 requests out and you haven't heard anything, we do recommend to continue requesting, continue checking, and I believe you had one other question at the end there. Would you please repeat that for me?
If the venue are in a contact with each other regarding their artists with whom they are making connection and discussing it on the emails.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually let Kaylee come in on this one.
Hi, my name is Kaylee. So the venues actually have a Facebook page that's dedicated to like them communicating with one another. So some of them do share like what they are doing amongst each other. But for the most part, they are operating on their own, planning their exhibitions, and moving forward. I will say I do want to note on the waiting for response time. Some of the larger venues will take much longer to respond because they have a committee for selecting. So they'll have a group of individuals that go through their connection requests together. So that's the one thing to note, and that can induce a little anxiety because you're waiting. But it's a kind of a back and forth. More connections is always a good plan. And like Lee said, once you get to that point where you're like, okay, no one said anything, send some more, look at some other venues, and continue moving forward with that process.
Yeah. And we do also have, to add to that, excuse me, sorry, a couple features for venue profiles too, where if they are full, if they're done accepting artists, then they can mark their venues as full, and that will completely prevent our artists from being able to request, as well as, oh, I had one other thing. There was something else. Oh, yes. We added a multi-decline feature this year. So hopefully that will allow our venues to increase their response time, as well as be more transparent if and when they are done taking on any more requests. Yeah. Do you have any other questions, Lisa?
No, thank you very much. Thank you.
Perfect.
Up to, I do. Up to how many venues we can connect?
Yeah, so you can only connect with one final connection. You can't exhibit in any other other than your final.
But you can send as many requests as you'd like to multiple venues.
Yes.
So you could request all of them.
Yeah.
I don't recommend that tactic.
It gets a little insane.
My next for a question here, do you know?
Yeah.
So I actually I had received an email a while ago that my 2024 application fee, we applied for this year's fee.
Yeah.
Registration. And so my entry is in progress, and I emailed support at ArtPrize last week and this week. I've not heard response, and the deadline is tomorrow. And my works, I just, before this webinar, I went on the portal and it said it's still in progress. Do you want to pay? So I'm getting a little bit concerned.
Yeah.
That I can't move forward with this because I can't have a response. I don't know what to do next.
No, that's completely understandable. And I apologize so incredibly much for the delays in the communication within the support email. And that goes for everyone who has sent in the past week. It's been a little hectic, not hectic, but been a very busy week trying to prepare for connections. But brain just lagged for a moment.
In short, we will get you in.
Yes. Like no matter what, I will be sure to get your name in we have a little table for everyone who has the 2024 rollovers. And so we'll make sure that a tech ticket gets submitted so that can be applied to your account.
By the deadline tomorrow then, so I'll know it's okay and I can start making connections?
Yes, we'll have it done by the end of day tomorrow, as far as like getting that in, and we'll make sure. Thank you, Kaylee. She's sending it right now. So and
I just feel a little concerned, that's all,
So.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate
well, thank you.
That up.
Thank you for telling me, for
Yeah.
let me know it'll be okay.
Absolutely. No, and again, I apologize for the delay. And then for anyone else out there too that is looking to have their 2024 fee rolled over due to not having a connection last year, we will be in contact with you, and also send an email if you haven't. Please.
I sent two already, so you have them.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Perfect. And I think Ellen is next here. You've got your hand raised. If you want to unmute for me. You still there, Ellen?
I am. I just finally got unmuted.
Perfect. Okay.
I was clicking the wrong thing. Here, I'll get me on camera too.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
I am wondering, last year we were extremely lucky, and the place we really wanted to be was the first place that connected with us.
Oh, wow.
But I'm wondering what happens if we don't hear from from those ones at the top of our list.
Yeah.
And before we don't have to accept the first one we get, obviously, but how do we do that so we don't make anybody mad?
Yeah, no, that's a really great question. kind of along, we mentioned a little bit of like just keeping an eye out, being aware of response times. It may take a little bit longer for them to reach out if it's your preferred venue. Just depending on where it is, they have like a good like 2 to 3 week response time. So trying to remember not to have the anxiety. We do typically like to remind people that once they make that connection with a venue, we do not like to have them back out unless, you know, for some reason they can't participate or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. But it's kind of one of those silly, weird games where it's like, when's the right time to hit the button, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, do venues understand if artists don't accept right away or respond right away, or can we respond and just ask them more questions and kind of keep them on the line until we hear that kind of thing? What's the good strategy?
No, that's absolutely right. You are welcome to, if they request you and you want to accept that and move it into the pending phase so that you guys can communicate and figure out some more details, what they have to offer, what you're offering, and just be as transparent as possible with them. Just, you know, like, this is something that I want to see who else comes in, but I'm still very interested in what you have to offer. So, and then just if you do end up with a connection with another venue that's not who you're communicating with, just sending a little, hey, thank you so much for your time, but moving on, and I hope that things go well for you. Just doing what you can to just keep everyone informed. And same for our venues too. Hopefully, you know, they are sending out emails to you, our artists, who, like, you know, say they're in contact with people. We would hope that they would extend that same courtesy of just emailing and saying, hey, we are absolutely full, but thank you so much, and just respecting each other's time and energies.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, and I think we have Jan is next. And maybe, no, I don't have to do anything. That's right. Okay. Jan, if you want to unmute and ask your question, you can do
I
that.
think I did it right here. Let's see
Yeah,
if I'm
perfect.
live here. Cool.
I hear you.
So I had a couple of questions. I think you've answered most of them. It's obviously the connections one is one that's really interesting. And I think I'm understanding you can reach out to multiples, and then you don't have to, you're not finalized until you finalize that document and send that in. So I guess the concern is, I think that's what Ellen was saying too, is that, like, you know, you've got one hanging, but maybe it's not your first choice.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe you should wait, and then do you lose that connection? And what if you don't get another one?
Yeah.
There's that stress going on.
Definitely. It's a bit of a juggling act for sure.
Right?
I would definitely say, just as like another note too, if you're kind of getting closer to the end of connections and you're still holding out hope that your preferred one does get in contact with you, does accept, but you haven't seen any movement, I do, like I said, no connection is a bad connection. As long as your art is here in Grand Rapids, you are still getting exposure, you're still having the opportunity to win cash money. So
we love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ideally sell, or, you know, or get the
Yeah,
exposure there. That's the
exactly.
biggest thing for me. The other question I had that I don't think anybody's touched on is the pitch nights.
Oh, yeah.
Do you anticipate anything in the, like, northwest suburbs of Chicago area?
Ooh, that is
I'm like looking where these are, and they're so far away from where we are. And I know that even on this call, there's a number of people that I know that are in this general area as well. So, you know, I don't know if that's an opportunity. The pitch nights seem to be very good way to get grants and to
Yeah,
Um,
so we are open to additional partnerships starting next year. These are things that we've cultivated beginning back in like December and January.
Okay.
So unfortunately, we won't have the runway to add any additional ones before the event. But we would love to come to Chicago next year.
I'm trying to take a trip.
Yeah.
But you don't have anything on the schedule already for them, right?
We
Like-
don't have a schedule already for them.
Okay, so yeah,
But
that's why I was curious. Like maybe it was there and it just hasn't come up yet, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a bit of a computer dork myself, so I'm just figuring this all out.
No,
And then I
great.
think the only other weird question I had, and it's a weird one,
That's okay.
prizes.
Mhm.
You know, there's all these different categories and there's votes and is there any like restrictions on, let's say you get a award from the juried event and then you also get a people's event or something like that? Is there any kind of limitations or restrictions there? Or?
Yeah. So there's no restrictions there. It is rare that does happen. Last year was only the second time that has ever happened in ArtPrize history.
I imagine so.
The
Yeah.
time-based public and time-based juried award winner, Incredible Will, with his endurance poetry, won both, and that is
Wow, that's cool.
only the second time. But there's no limitations there, so you could win both your category in the public and in the jury.
Very cool. Very cool. I think, and you said like there's no good or bad venue. I don't really know the area that well, but I have spoken to a venue and they were saying like in the window, more people can see it 24 hours, but then you can't really give out like tags either, right? So how do they do that in a window or like, you know, is there a way to kind of gauge or bounce people off for venues and what works? And
Definitely. This is a wonderful question too. And I would even love to follow up with you on a call and just kind of bounce some ideas off of you.
that'd be great.
Email me. I would love that. But as far as just even different little ideas too, the venues who they've done this for, I mean, some venues have participated
15
years. For a while.
Yeah.
So they have seen and been through it, and they have seen a lot of creative people come up with creative solutions.
Okay.
So as you're
Cool.
in talks with the venue too, that can be something that's like, hey, what do you think about, you know, throwing some cards and like, are you open during certain hours and I can have this on a desk somewhere, stuff like
Okay.
that.
You can
Yeah.
Very
also
cool.
attachable card holders that are weatherproofed with like a lid on them.
Yeah.
And that
Ah.
could maybe stick on the window.
Yeah.
That is an option maybe if the venue's okay with it. The one thing I'll say about connections and finding a venue is that it's very similar to like a dating app. You kind of have to go with your gut.
Never been on those.
You have to go with
First
your
time for
gut.
everything.
Yeah, go with your gut. And our community is, well, to us it feels small because we know so many people.
Yeah.
But everyone is really kind and excited,
Yeah.
and the venues are all very wonderful.
Our sweetie pies.
Fabulous. And you guys are doing awesome.
Oh,
And then I will let somebody else get their questions answered. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Hi, Michelle. Can I hear? Oh, I don't think I can hear you, Michelle. Oh, maybe.
I think it's your headset. I don't think your
still
headset's
can't.
working.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
one sec. Got you. I love technology.
It's, you know,
Oh.
There you
Nice.
are. Okay. Hi.
Well, I don't know. Hold on a second here. Oh,
Yep, we can hear you.
you're good.
Can you hear us? I feel like that Verizon, like, can you hear me now? Oh no. It was
Okay,
Yeah.
that's where this is. Okay, there we go.
good.
About that, hi, guys. I just wanted to ask quickly, are we going to have, is there a search box on the dashboard if we're looking for a particular artist or venue? I think we had that last year, but I don't think I've seen it so far this year. And I just figured it would be helpful if we're, looking at a particular artist or venue to be able to do that.
Yes, absolutely. That does still exist. And then my little tech brain is like the control F for find, which
It does work.
It does work. Me going through looking at everyone's profiles.
Yeah.
But yes, we will have that function this year as well. And hopefully, I know we had a little snafu with it last year, so they have told us that that should be working a lot simpler, more streamlined. So if not,
Please let us know.
please
if it
let us
doesn't
know.
work.
And we will be on it.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great. And I think all my other questions were answered, which is great. And I will just cannot reiterate enough. Communication is key. And, check that dashboard, check those connections. Because I know, we reached out to a lot of artists last year and it was just, waiting and waiting and waiting for people to pick up and respond to those requests.
Yes, even just a response to like the request, and then you guys can communicate. You can say, hey, like, even though I accepted it, even if you accept it, it's not a finalized connection. Like, it is truly just a foot in the door to have a conversation.
It just says I'm interested in going on the date in September. Not committing to the date yet.
I love that.
That's a great analogy.
Take me on a date to ArtPrize. Perfect. Do you have any other questions, Michelle?
I think we are good. Thank you guys so much. Very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll admit to call, and then let's see here. Where are we? Can you help me with where we're at? Please and thank you.
All right. I am so sorry. I'm going to say your name wrong.
Nilufar? Nilufar? I'm so sorry.
Yes, I'm Nilufar.
Nilufar.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm so sorry for being that person.
That's fine. And my name is hard a little bit. I wanted to ask another question. Is it okay if I put my previous work until I'm done with the new one?
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly,
So-
we encourage that because it really helps the venues see kind of what your previous compositions have ended up like, just getting the vibe for you as an artist. So yes, please.
I would recommend,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I would recommend making like a note in your profile that is an example of your previous work, so that they know that is not exactly what you are bringing, but an example of what you have done in the past. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Did we have, let's see, Lisa? Yes, looks like Lisa's next in the queue.
Well, thank you. In the middle of connection process, I will be in Europe for like 2 weeks. Is it possible to do it on my cell phone from Europe? To do connect and sign the agreement if I'm lucky, and the chat and all of that?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We have a lot of international artists that are coming from Europe, so you have access to everything from there.
Yeah.
From a cell phone, right? Not from a computer.
Yeah.
You'll be
You
able
can
to
do it on
access
your mobile phone, cell phone, whatever platform. A lot of people do it on iPads. So it is formatted for the mobile. If you encounter any issues with it, please reach out to me at the support@artprize.org email, and we can work through it together.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right, looks like I have PL.
Hi. You had said accepting does not mean it's a finalized connection. It's a foot in the door. Does that mean you can accept more than one while you're making that decision?
So yes, you can accept and go into the pending phase with as many venues as you'd like. You can talk it all up to the cows come home.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. And then looks like we have Jackie.
Well, hang on.
Oh,
Was that
oh,
all
sorry.
your questions before we move on? Do you have any others? No? Okay.
Good. Perfect. All right, Jackie, how can I help you, babes?
Hey, I was just curious if all artwork applications will be connected with venues.
Okay, sorry, my brain just
So
buffering.
all artwork applications, do you mean applying for the sales component?
I just mean if you apply to ArtPrize, are you going to get in?
So if you so the connections process is how you are able to secure your location. So the initial putting your entry in and paying for registration is like first step, and then connections is what determines like you getting in. We don't filter any of the artwork that's coming in. So our venues are organically filtering all of the entries through the connections process.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that it's possible that not all applications will receive a connection.
That is true. We do try our best, though, at the end of connections to push as much as we can to get
gathering everybody up and pushing them out to our venues.
That's something that the exhibitions team, that's one of our priorities, is to get as many artists connected as possible.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. And then it sounds like people had credits from last year. Is that is that if they didn't get connected, you automatically get in for the following year?
Yes. Yep. So the 2024, if you did not connect with a venue, then you are eligible to have that fee rolled over to your 2025. Unfortunately, that is not a program that we are continuing as of 2025. So any 2025 registration fees would not be able to roll over to future years. Just a little heads up.
Good to know. Last question. So if you have connections that are pending, can you receive new connections?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. The only time you can't receive a new connection is when you already have one. And it's like, so meaning it's finalized. And the portal will let you know if it is finalized, because sometimes our thumbs slip and it finalizes. And if it does, and you don't want it to, you want to continue, and both you and the venue are in agreement, then please reach out to us and we'll address that.
Okay, that's all the questions I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie.
And then Chuck, I just want to let everyone know in the webinar still, Chuck will be our last question for now. I do see that we have, I'm so sorry that I have not been doing the typed chat questions, but that is something that I will be sure to look at, answer, and send an email or just respond to. Make sure that your questions are answered. But with that being said, Chuck.
Got a couple questions.
Yeah.
First, what's the appropriate tone from the range of humble to arrogant take with a venue?
The God complex?
Moderately confident.
Yes. It's like Kaylee said, you're going on a date. You're trying to convince this venue to date you. So you want to be confident, but also know that the ball is in their court as well.
It's important when you're approaching conversations from both a venue and from an artist standpoint, to have an open mind and flexibility. We all have an idea of how we want our artwork to look and be presented, but just have in mind that a lot of these are operating businesses, and so they will need to adjust their businesses around the artwork, but sometimes that comes with limitations. So just having some open mind around that. But like I said, our venues are so kind and are very excited to have any and all of you in their space.
Absolutely.
Is it considered inappropriate to contact venues offline? They have contact information, but is that rude?
I wouldn't recommend it, simply because sometimes the people that are managing their ArtPrize venue or are curating the space are not the same people that you are going to talk to when you call them. So if you call a restaurant or if you call maybe say somewhere that has a corporate office or something like that, and you're talking to a person that's at the space, they might not have anything to do with the art. So I recommend always sticking to the portal when it comes to contacting your venues, simply because those curators might not be the same people that are on the other end of the Google line.
Yeah.
So that's my advice there.
Yeah.
And then finally, I'd like to make a comment, a suggestion that you encourage, particularly the top handful of venues, to say no.
Yeah.
I've been left on the hook every year I've done this.
No, I'm sorry,
And
Chuck.
just tell me no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to hurt my feelings, but just rip the Band-Aid off.
Inevitable. Yeah, rejection is unfortunately a part of life, and being honest, being open, being current in the portal is very important. And I don't know if you I don't know if you were here in the chat when we talked about having that multi-decline feature. So even just having that a better ability to streamline the process of like declining requests, hopefully that will really truly encourage our larger venues to respond in a timely manner, or just enjoy.
Yeah, the thing that happens quite frequently with the larger venues is they receive hundreds of requests. So it takes them a minute to get through things, which is unfortunate for the artists who are waiting. But patience, and we will do our best to communicate to them to stay on top of it. The Facebook page for venues is new this year, so I'm hoping that will help with kind of continuing that nudging.
Yes. It's like they get newsletters from us, but it's also like they're getting emails from artists. So it's like really trying to make sure that we have multiple platforms of communication so that they are seeing our little nudges, our little like tap on the back, tap on the shoulder.
Yeah, but that's a very valid frustration, and it can be difficult. And I greatly empathize with you on that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, thank you, Chuck. Okay, well, that was our last question for now. Again, like I said, I will review all of the questions in the type chat, and if I didn't speak to you, I will make sure to reach out, or if I don't remember that I spoke to you, because brains are brains, I will just be sure to reach out and just, again, provide that information. It's always nice to like have it written down somewhere in an email or something. So anyhow, I'll go through our last couple of slides here. Just kind of the next steps, which is crazy to say it, but Connection starts next week. So we're very excited. Be sure to stay tuned and like keep an eye out in your emails for any like newsletters and stuff. We'll also have some more information on artwork sales coming out. We do partner with All Artworks, which is a local viewing studio, and they are stellar. They take care of almost everything with the process, and they'll work with you. They're very, Ellen over there is very sweet. Hi, Ellen, if you're in here.
We will be hosting another webinar later on with All Artworks to address any sales questions or spread the news.
Yeah. And then come hang out with us. Come get to know us. Come show us your face. Shake my hand. We'll be at the Motu Pitch Night. Again, that's this Saturday at Ottawa Hills High School, 2 to 6. I would love to connect with you guys, answer any more questions that you might have. And then final little baby note, connect with exhibitions. If you are planning to connect with like a public space, like a park, sidewalk, anything on public property, I believe needs a permit and city approvals. So if you end up connecting with a park, let's talk. Let's chat.
Talk to
her. I mean, I can connect you guys, but also if you want to reach out to exhibitions at artprize.org, they are the whiz kids of dealing with the city. So
we love the city.
We love the city. And then just what else do I have here? just thank you. Thank you for being here, taking the time out to speak with us, to share your concerns or questions. I truly love this event. I love getting to know all of you. I love the coworkers that I get to experience this crazy existence with. And I look forward to seeing your art, and helping you through this process. So reach out if you have any questions. But we're going to log off.
Yeah. Have a great day, y'all.
Have a wonderful night.
Before you do.
Thank